Toro Workman HD Series utility vehicles include gasoline models and diesel models. Since all of these vehicles are similar in operation, this program uses the Workman HDX to show proper and safe use of all the models. Any differences in the units will be pointed out throughout the program. This program is not a replacement for reading and understanding the operator's manual. The operator's manual is located in the storage tube behind the operator's seat. The manual has all the important information you need to know about the Toro HD Workman series. If you cannot find a copy of the manual, go online at toro.com. Go to the Course Management or Sports Field section and click on Operator Manual to view a PDF of the manual. All operators of Toro HD Series vehicles must understand operation and be physically capable of operating these vehicles. You should also complete the Toro Turf Maintenance Safety Education Program and test. They are also available online at toro.com under the Customer Care section. Click on the Technical Reference and Education area and select Operation and Safety Training. Safety labels are located at key points on the Workman to identify potential hazards and how to avoid them. Look for these labels and obey them. Tell your supervisor if a label is damaged or missing. Here are some common symbols you'll see. Alert symbol indicates a hazard to be avoided. Read the operator's manual to understand what the hazard is and how to avoid it. Training symbol. All operators should be trained before operating a piece of equipment. Fire hazard. Keep all ignition sources away from the area when adding fuel, and don't overfill the fuel tank. Tipping hazard. Use caution when driving on slopes to avoid a tip-over hazard. Drive slowly and avoid any sharp turns. Safe operation requires proper clothing and protective gear. Avoid loose-fitting clothing or jewelry that could get caught in moving parts. Wear substantial leather shoes or work boots. Safety glasses, hard hats, and hearing protection are always a good idea and may be required. Personal headphones do not provide hearing protection and can distract you from safely operating the equipment. You should never use headphones. Make sure you check local ordinances, insurance, and facility regulations for proper protective gear. Remember that accidents can happen to anyone. Cold capsules or prescription drugs may cause drowsiness, as can alcohol and other drugs. Stay alert and stay safe. Failure to do so could result in serious injury or death. All Workman HD Series vehicles have seating for the operator and one passenger. The vehicles all have rollover protection systems, or ROPS. Both the operator and passenger seats can be adjusted to a comfortable position. Move the seat forward or backward with this lever in front of the seat. There are also hip restraints and seat belts. And the passenger side also has a handhold. Seat belts must be worn at all times when operating or riding in the Workman HD series. There are cup and radio or phone holders on all models. The headlight switch is located on the dashboard to the left of the steering column. The headlights are not linked to the ignition switch and must be turned on and off manually. The ignition key switch is on the dashboard to the right of the steering tower. This is a three-position switch: off, run, and start. To display the instrument panel gauges, turn the key to run, but do not start the engine. You will see a tachometer for engine speed, a digital speedometer for vehicle speed in miles per hour, which can be set to kilometers per hour, an hour meter that logs hours whenever the key switch is on or the engine is running, and a coolant temperature gauge light that will illuminate if the engine overheats. It will blink red if the engine is overheating. A fuel gauge shows fuel level when the ignition switch is in the on position. The oil pressure warning light illuminates if the engine oil pressure drops below a safe level while the engine is running. The charge indicator light illuminates if the battery is being discharged. And a check engine light illuminates if engine problems are detected. On diesel units, the glow plug indicator light will stay on if engine problems are detected. If any of the warning lights flicker or remain on, stop the engine immediately and contact your maintenance supervisor. A third high gear lockout key is located below the ignition key switch. This allows the third gear in high range to be disabled to limit vehicle top speed. The engine will shut off if the shift lever is moved into third gear when this lockout is engaged. This key is removable in either position. The accelerator, clutch, and brake pedals are located on the floorboard of the vehicle. The parking brake is on the right side of the operator seat. Lower the handle to release the parking brake. To engage the parking brake, pull up on the parking brake handle. The hydraulic lift lever raises and lowers the cargo bed. When lowering and raising the cargo bed, hold the lever an extra 1 to 2 seconds after the cargo bed stops moving to secure it in position. Do not hold the lever for more than 5 seconds after lowering or raising the bed to its position. Whenever the bed is raised, always use the bed support located behind the operator on the cab back wall. The support slips over the hydraulic cylinder rod to prevent accidental lowering of the bed when the bed is up. The lift lock is next to the hydraulic lift lever. Lock out the hydraulics when not in use or not needed. The gear shift is to the right of the operator's seat. Fully depress the clutch to move the shift lever into the desired gear. Workman HD series use an H shift pattern. Reverse, first, second, and third. The high-low range shifter sets the gears for different driving conditions. High range is for high-speed driving on level, dry surfaces with light loads. Low range should be used for steep grades, difficult terrain, low-speed applications, and heavy loads. The vehicle must be stopped before shifting this high-low range shifter. Putting the high-low shifter between the two positions puts the transmission in neutral. Never leave the shifter in this position. If the shifter is bumped, the vehicle could move unexpectedly. The differential lock allows the rear axle to be locked for increased traction. The differential lock may be engaged when the vehicle is in motion. Move the lever forward to engage and to the right to lock it in. The Workman HD series vehicles use either gasoline or diesel fuel. Using the wrong fuel can cause serious damage to the engine. When fueling, make sure the ignition key is in the off position. Add fuel in a level, open area, and never have any ignition sources in the fueling area. There are several checks that should be made each day before operating the Workman HD series. You will need to raise the cargo bed to make these checks. Raise the cargo bed by engaging the hydraulic bed lift lever. Ensure the cargo bed is entirely raised and the bed support is in position prior to accessing the engine. To check the engine oil, remove the dipstick. Wipe it off with a clean rag. Replace it all the way and remove it again. If the oil level is below the safe operating range on the dipstick, add the recommended oil as needed. Do not overfill the engine oil. Refer to the maintenance section of the operator's manual for detailed instructions. The battery is located outside on the left frame, behind the driver's seat. All Workman HD series have safety interlocks. Check to make sure the interlock is working. Engage the parking brake and put the shift lever in neutral. Without depressing the clutch, turn the ignition switch to start. The engine should not crank. Lock the lift lever in the forward position. Depress the clutch and turn the ignition switch to start. Again, the engine should not crank. If the engine starts in either of these checks, report it to your maintenance supervisor and do not operate the unit. Practice driving the vehicle in a safe area away from others. Be sure you become familiar with all the vehicle's controls, particularly those used for starting, braking, steering, and transmission shifting. The passenger and operator must keep arms and legs inside the vehicle and wear seat belts during operation. Make sure your passenger is holding on securely. Never carry more than one passenger in the passenger seat, and never carry a passenger in the cargo bed. Become familiar with how the vehicle handles in turns. The Workman HD series turning radius may vary depending on the load. Turning too sharply for the conditions or speed could cause the vehicle to lose control or even tip over. Always be ready to stop quickly in an emergency. Workman HD series handled differently in wet and dry turf conditions, road surfaces, and in rough, uneven terrain. Sudden changes in terrain may cause abrupt steering wheel movement, resulting in hand or arm injuries. Always grip the wheel loosely, keeping thumbs and hands out of the steering wheel spokes. Practice driving in these conditions and always keep your speed under control. Use extra caution on slopes and hills. Slow down before starting up or down a hill. Turning while going up, down, or across a hill is particularly dangerous. Slow down and turn gradually to avoid tipping or rolling the vehicle. Never drive on extremely steep slopes. If the Workman stalls while climbing a steep hill or starts to slip, slowly apply the brakes. Shift to reverse and back down the hill. When going under low overhangs or trees, keep the ROPS in mind so that you don't damage the obstacle or the vehicle. The weight and position of the cargo and passenger can change the vehicle's center of gravity and vehicle handling. Do not exceed the rated capacity of the vehicles. The Workman HD models each have their own maximum vehicle capacity rating. See the operator's manual for the capacity of your vehicle. This rated capacity includes operator, passenger, and payload weight. The operator's manual has a load volume chart that can give you load capacity guidelines. Load distributions can vary depending on the items you are carrying. Loads may need to be secured with tie-downs to prevent shifting. Height and weight of the load has a significant influence on performance of the vehicle and your risk of a tip-over. Keep the load distributed evenly and low, at or below the load rated capacity. Always position the load evenly from front to rear and side to side. Heavy loads behind the rear axle may cause steering control loss. Loads also increase your stopping distance. Braking or turning too hard or fast may cause loads to shift, increasing the chance of a tip-over. Reduce the load weights on steep hills and with high center of gravity loads. For better hill climbing, engage the differential lock in low range. Use the differential for extra traction on hills or soft terrain. Move the differential lever forward and hold or lock it until the extra traction is not needed. Never dump a loaded cargo box on a side hill. The change in weight distribution could cause the vehicle to tip over. All models of the Workman HD can pull trailers for trailer load weights up to 3,500 pounds or 1,587 kilograms. When towing a trailer, do not overload it. Too much trailer weight can cause the vehicle to have poor steering and braking performance. Trailers over 1,500 pounds or 680 kilograms require trailer brakes. In addition, you could lose control, resulting in an accident or injury. If engine or other sounds change during operation, or you feel anything different or smell anything unusual, stop the vehicle. Bring the problem to the attention of your maintenance supervisor immediately. At the end of your workday, always clean the machine and check it over. First, lift the cargo bed, turn off the engine, set the parking brake, remove the key.